Hello! It's the Big Finish people again. And look, this time, obviously Jason's here and I'm Nick. This time, we've got Lisa Greenwood. Flip.
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
lovely to see you. Who's looking particularly, well, she's putting us to shame, isn't she, basically?
She is.
Just concentrate
She
on
shaved.
her.
She did makeup. I mean, I didn't even shave. She shaved.
I don't have anywhere to get dressed up for these days, so I thought I'd make an effort. A little bit of makeup, curl the hair up a little bit. You
Nice.
feel privileged.
Yeah, I do. Just look at Lisa's bit of the screen, I would say. This is probably all appallingly sexist, just because you're a woman, we're talking about appearance. And I think I better
appreciate it. Thank you for the compliment.
Okay, thank you. Jason, we were sent some questions, weren't we, that you forgot all about?
So I want to apologise to loads of people because we've done 2 panels so far. It's not Jean's fault. Jean sent me a load of questions, but it was ages ago and he didn't remind me. And then
so it sort of is his fault, yeah.
It sort of is. Let's blame Jean. So basically, I found them, and I suddenly went, oh no. So it's fine. We got this panel. There's a load of questions for Big Finish, which of course is great because this is a Big Finish panel. Yeah. And then there's a load of questions for Paul McGann. And I think we should have an attempt at answering all the questions for Paul McGann as well. Yeah. Just for fun.
Have we got any questions for Lisa to start with then?
No.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, well, aren't you glad you turned up? What was the last thing you did for Big Finish, Lisa?
Oh my gosh. So it was back in February.
Right, just before?
Oh, just before lockdown.
Yeah, just before lockdown. And I swear I had COVID when I was recording.
Really?
Audiobooks, yeah. Everyone was sick. I was like coughing really badly in the booth. Crazy.
Are you patient zero? Did you give it to everyone?
No, I wasn't patient zero. We obviously didn't know what COVID was, and it might not have been that, but it was a pretty scary time.
Were you very ill afterwards?
I wasn't particularly ill, but I remember feeling quite like unsteady on my feet, and I was coughing quite a lot. And I know that a few of the crew, some of the guys at the studios, they also came down with something before me. So I don't know if I would have gave it to them or they gave it to me or what happened, but we definitely all had something at that time.
Are you sure you weren't just drunk?
No, I was drunk as well, but
always.
Yeah, it was crazy. But my mum came down with something. I did.
Well, of course, colds and flu.
That's what I mean. You don't know, do you? You don't know if you've had it or not.
No.
I mean, I've had 2 tests during lockdown where I felt maybe I caught it somehow, and I had 2 tests. Both of them were negative, so I haven't had it. Simple as that.
I was sent one of those random tests to do, but we just moved house. And I contacted them and said, look, obviously I'm at a new house now. And they said, well, we can only collect it from the address. And I said, well, I don't live there anymore. And they said, well, we can only collect it from that address. And they obviously said it in this voice. And I said, well, I can't be there because I don't live there anymore. And they said, yeah, but we can only collect it. And then I said, well, so forget about it. And they said, yeah, forget about it. And then they just kept sending me loads of text reminders where I felt like a criminal. They said, you have been sent a test. You must send the results immediately. I thought, you've just told me not to. It's like this whole thing's been mismanaged in some way. I don't know.
It's so scary. It's such a scary time, but we get through it.
But it is lovely to see you, Lisa.
Yes.
Thank you. I have actually got one of my
Oh, what have you got?
CDs. I only got sent one. I think because I'm waiting for 2 more, but I've got one of them.
Was this
Lovecraft Invasion?
What was the one you recorded that last one?
Do you know what? I can't quite remember because we recorded them all together.
Yes.
I can't quite remember, but this was one that I really enjoyed. This was directed by Scott Hancock.
Oh yes.
Lovecraft.
And you still enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Don't be naughty, Nick.
I'm only saying because he's not.
He's one of my favourites. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Great.
With him.
Excellent.
Great. Yeah.
I'm going to ask a question actually from the list, and this is from Misha in Indiana, USA, who asks, "What is your favourite Dalek story out of all the audio series?" Which is very pertinent to both Nick and also Lisa. You've had a couple of Dalek stories, so what are your favourite Dalek stories?
Ooh, I actually think I've got that one here as well.
Look through.
This is actually my favourite one.
Hey!
Yeah, this was in like the beginning of when I started playing Flip, and this is one of my favourites. Yeah, Curse of Davros.
Can you hold up that cover next to your face? Because you look so young. You always look so young, but you look really young there, don't you? Oh my God.
Yeah, this was, I can't remember, I'm trying to find the year that we did this one, but I'm pretty sure it was in the beginning, and it was by Jonathan Morris.
It should be on the back.
Created Flip on the back.
There should be a copyright statement or something on the back.
Yeah.
Or Nick will look online and he'll tell you exactly.
2012. So yeah, I think at the start, 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2012. What did it say when it was recorded? It was recorded in 2011. It was recorded on the 6th and 7th of June 2011.
Wow. Inside
So it's actually 9.5 years ago.
That is crazy.
And the story had the working title of Waterloo of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Ah.
That was one of my favourite lines. I don't know it verbatim, but it says something like, oh, what was it? It's one of my favourite lines.
Napoleon did surrender, that where you start quoting the
something
ABBA
about
song.
Napoleon Dynamite and ABBA, and she goes, that's a song by ABBA or something like
That's
that.
right, yes.
It's a really, really fun story.
Yeah,
Very
it's an interesting, outrageous fact, and let's hope the BBC are listening, is that this was at the time where someone had made an erroneous claim that they had created Davros.
Really?
And that somehow it had been stolen by the BBC. So the whole thing about Davros was in contention. And we were told, you can't do any Davros stories at the moment. And we've just done this. And we said, really, is it? And they said, well, you can't represent his image in any way. I said, so we can't have him on the cover? They said, no. And I said, but we can say his name. They said, yeah, that's fine. So because I couldn't put Davros on the cover, I changed the title to Curse of Davros, which is vaguely relevant to the story. That Waterloo of the Daleks is a much better title.
No, I love that title. I just opened it up. You know, you used to take the photos inside the booklet. Yeah. Look how young we all look.
Oh.
Can you see?
Am I in it?
Let's have a look. I don't think you are.
Oh, thank goodness.
You probably are in one of these that I've got.
I do remember when we were listening to that, I said, is Lisa an amazing actress who's actually putting on this amazing performance, which is so different to her, or is it just her? And they went, oh, it's just her. No. But you are very like Flip in some ways, aren't you?
Oh yeah, totally. Like it was 9 years ago and I was pretty much that East End girl, you know, up for anything, jumping in man's TARDIS. That sounds so wrong. Jumping in a man's TARDIS. That sounded so wrong.
This is very PC life, like, you know, the world has changed. You don't go around jumping into men's TARDISes all the time now.
Not jumping men's TARDISes or anything else. It was really nice playing Flip because I feel like we've grown up together. And Jonathan Morris definitely wrote alongside me. It was like he took things of me and put it in the character, and they're the best characters to play, the ones that you have more in common with. But yeah, this is definitely one of the beginning ones because I had my boyfriend Jared.
Oh yeah,
audio boyfriend.
Yes.
That relationship didn't last long.
No. So, how old? I'm going to be naughty because you're not supposed to.
I'm not going to tell you my age.
No. Well, how old were you then?
Then people will work it out through mathematics.
Yeah, you can't ask people.
I just want to know because you look like you're 12, basically.
What now?
So, no, then.
Oh, that would be weird.
I did look very young for my age. Let's leave it at that.
Okay, fair enough.
Actually, 52.
52. So the answer to that question is Curse of the Daleks. And Nick, what is your favourite?
Oh God, I don't know. What Big Finish Dalek story?
Yeah.
I'm really bad at doing favourites. You know what I mean? Because it insinuates that you didn't like the others.
One that sticks out in your mind, then.
I'll just say Dalek Empire. There you go.
Dalek Empire. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, Dalek Empire. Or Jubilee.
Right. Nick, you were going to say something.
Was I? Oh, I was going to say that even if Lisa is looking at a photograph of me, she doesn't recognize me in photos because she tweeted this thing, which was sorry, I'm talking about you like you're the cat's mother.
Yeah.
You tweeted this thing where a studio we work in called the Sound House, they put photographs of people all over the wall. And you tweeted a picture of the wall and you went, oh God, so many famous people and so many people I know in this photo, and you named a few people, and I was right in the center of it, wearing a bright
He was in front of my camera as I was
blue
going
and
past
white
it.
shirt. And I said, and I'm in it. And you said something like, no, I can't see you, or something. I thought, wow, thanks.
Do you know what? I literally scanned it, and there was probably so many more people on there I just didn't recognise. I couldn't believe how many people had been through the Soundhouse studio doors. It was crazy.
Yeah, don't make me like part of a bunch of people you don't recognize. I think I was the only person you didn't recognise.
No, it wasn't like that. In fairness, I had 5-minute lunch.
Yeah.
It was during COVID, so there was nowhere to eat. So I literally had my little mini roll. I was very hungry. That's all I brought, stupidly, a mini roll. Yeah, I just didn't see you. I'm so sorry.
No, I know. Just make it worse.
Camera. How could I forget your face? Nick, I couldn't forget your face. I see it in my dreams and my nightmares.
Yeah, mostly nightmares, I imagine. But I always find it fantastic to work with you because, as I always say, there are 1,000,001 things you can do with that part that were you not doing those things, I would never be able to explain to you how to do them because you just instinctively do it.
Oh, thank you. I think that's the thing about having a character that you can relate to.
Yeah.
Really related to Flip. And I do think the character's changed as we've gone on. And it just gives me that opportunity to play with that character. That's very kind. Thank you, Nick.
Well, and also it's the best kind of thing because you weren't going to be playing a regular companion and you came in and you were so good. I remember the point, and I was directing you and David Richardson, our senior producer, just his head appeared by mine. And he just, when I turned off the microphone, he whispered in my ear, he said, are you thinking what I'm thinking? That she should come back and stay with the Sixth Doctor. And I was busy and I just went, yeah. You know, I just thought, yeah, no question. It wasn't my idea, but the moment he said it, I just thought, yes, brilliant.
It was my first ever audio job. I remember, because I'd never done anything like that, I pretty much memorised all of my lines. You don't normally have to do that with audio. You can kind of play around with things and work it in the booth. But I memerised everything. I memorised Colin's lines. I memorised my lines. But it's been such a great and fun opportunity. I can't believe, because it was Doctor Who's birthday, wasn't it? The big celebration the other day, and I was thinking about all of the things that the show has kind of like done and working with the audio books. Like I've been to Chicago, I've been to LA, I've been to Baltimore, all of these places I wouldn't have gone if it wasn't for this part and this character. So I'm so thankful for it. It's been a great joy to play.
It's like the good news is you're fired.
I'll get my coat. I've been there long enough. I know when to leave.
I'm really sorry. My sushi's arrived.
Okay.
So.
Oh, Jace, your sushi, darling.
It's like you were doing an award acceptance speech there.
Have I got an award?
Yeah, it just sounded like it, didn't it?
I want to thank everyone for this, for this great experience. It's been fantastic.
You should be an award-winning actress for that performance, actually. It was amazing.
Give me time.
What's the next question?
Well, I'm going to ask a Paul McGann question now.
Okay.
So I'm just answer it as yourself. At last year's, this is from Larry in Illinois. At last year's Chicago TARDIS, you spoke to me about music and Billie Holiday. What is your favourite music to listen to? So what's your favourite music to listen to?
What, Paul McGann?
No, you guys.
Oh, well, I'm eclectic. I love a bit of Motown, a bit of Stevie Wonder.
Oh.
Loving an artist called Celeste at the moment. But I like a bit of everything. And show tunes. I love show tunes. I normally listen to them on tube, but turn them down so like no one can hear. Like listening to Wicked and things like that.
Brilliant.
Well,
I've been listening to a bit of Laura Branigan recently, who's a real name from the past, from the early 80s, and fortunately died a number of years ago, bless her. And it's listening to YouTube while working late at night, and it got onto Laura Branigan. I thought, this is really good. She's really good. And then I Googled. I thought, I wonder if she's still producing music today. And she unfortunately died a long time ago. Anyway, there we go. So I'm listening to Laura Branigan. And Nick?
Well, I can't really, it's very difficult for me to narrow down. My eclectic is the thing. I particularly like listening to really awful TV music. But I'm just looking at my Apple Music thing here, where I bought stuff, and there's all sorts of weird things. So, you know, at one end of the scale, I've got a bit of Roxy Music here. You know, Brian Ferry?
Look.
And Paloma Faith. I've
Oh
done.
yeah, I've got that.
I love my favorite Paloma Faith, and it's unlike everything else she's done. Is Can't Rely on You. You know that it's a really fast.
Sing it for us, Nick.
Just can't rely on
I
you.
just don't know it. Nick, sing it, sing it.
I just did, and you were too busy talking to
I
listen.
can't rely on. I hadn't heard that one.
Really? That's exactly you're. That was
I literally
exactly
copied
right.
you.
Yeah.
I copied you.
Yeah, I don't know what's the copyright situation.
Oh, I don't know.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Takes a while to get started though.
This is the perfect one when you're in the bar.
So Larry, that's our answer on behalf of Paul McGann.
Oh, but I hadn't finished.
Oh, sorry, carry on.
Oh, it won't stop playing. Stop it. I'll mute it. But then you've got things like Gary Newman, unbelievably. And I've got his latest album, Savage, which is just amazing.
Yeah, I've heard it's really, really good.
Really good. I love all that synthesizer stuff.
Have you seen the documentary about it?
I've seen a recent documentary about him, but I don't know whether.
Yeah, they followed him in America where he tried to, and this I think was the album he was recording.
Right.
And
he's got his daughter singing on Ruin. What's it? Your name is, what's it called? My Name is Ruin. Yeah, that's right.
You've just made me want to buy that album.
Yes,
one for Gary Newman.
Also, here's a really weird one that I have to mention. The secret cosmic music of the East German Olympic program.
What?
Which is just really weird stuff. Okay.
That is so funny.
This is what nightclubs were full of in the 80s.
Do you know what? I imagine Nick like raving, a couple of glow sticks, little raver hat, that music.
Oh yeah, you're completely spot on.
I'm obsessed with
funnily enough,
virus.
if pressed, and funnily enough, I don't have any on my music collection here, and I haven't listened to any for years, but I always say that the Jam are my favorite band. Really loved that, in my youth. Anyway, there we are. Very long answer. Sorry. Next question.
Brilliant. I'll have a big finish question. I noticed this is from Brad in Illinois.
Brad. Is everyone in Illinois?
No, we've got one from Scotland, Wales, Pennsylvania, Australia, Iowa.
Wow.
Okay.
There's quite a few.
Illinois, anyway.
Okay. I noticed that there will be 2 releases of the Third Doctor Adventures next year. I think this is incredible. Is it the plan that there will be 2 annual box sets going forward to accommodate an annual adventure with Daisy, Sadie, and Katie? Understand if you can't say in detail.
I think that's the case, actually. I'm just working. I mean, you'll understand from my music collection why I like that kind of stuff, because I'm just composing some music for the Third Doctor Adventures at the moment. But I think we are doing that. Yeah, of course, I
do remember. Yeah,
the whole business of lockdown has changed things a bit, because I mean, so far I don't think Katie can work remotely. But luckily Sadie and Daisy could. And
Tim could.
Yeah, Tim could. Sorry. Yeah.
I think I sent him his mic actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I mean, he also came to a studio for us because before the second lockdown came along, we were able to put some people in studios and have other people remote, an eclectic. But yes, I think that pretty much is the plan. And it's one of my favorite things to work on, the Third Doctor Adventures.
I'm so pleased actually that one of the consequences of Legacy of Time is that people who probably weren't going to give Tim an opportunity had the chance to listen to him and go, actually, you've convinced me.
There was a noticeable difference, wasn't it? It was a sort of minority release, and then suddenly it became a really popular one. Have you met Tim, Lisa?
Tim, what's their name?
Tim Treloar.
Yeah, I loved him.
Yeah,
I've been to a few conventions with him. He's such a character.
He is, isn't he?
I can't not smile when I'm with Tim. I think he's a great guy.
Absolutely.
Great guy.
Yes. It's good to go to a bar with Tim Treloar.
Oh yes.
It's
He's
good
a
to
big
see
fan.
He's
Simon
Welsh.
Wilson.
He's I don't know what you mean. He's a big fan of the Jam as well. He's a right
Ah.
old mod. Yeah, I love the way you look blank when I say the Jam, Lisa. You've never heard of them, have you?
Just like, well,
It's like really mega
back in
famous
like when
band from
TVs
the
were black and white, right?
No, they were in the 80s.
I need to do some research, I think.
Paul Weller, have you heard of Paul Weller?
I have, but I'm not too much into the music, I don't think.
Oh,
I need to get some tunes.
We're going to send you some jam.
it
I've
is
got
a
a
long.
fun
It
fact
was a
about
long
him.
time ago. To be
I've got a fun
fair.
fact about Tim. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
So
Yeah, go
he
ahead.
was one of the voice coaches. Well, this is what he told me. One of the voice coaches on Dr. Dolittle.
He was a voice coach on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
what,
helped, you
for
know,
Downey
Iron
Jr.?
Man, Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, he helped Robert Downey Jr. with his Welsh accent.
Really?
Yeah, and he told me that when we was in LA. But yeah, I was very excited about it coming out.
I know he worked on the film. Was he not in it? He just worked.
I don't know if he was in it, but I know that he definitely helped him, like as a voice coach with the accent.
I remember reviews saying that the Welsh accent was absolutely terrible, though.
Don't, Nick. Don't be naughty.
Yeah, but imagine what it would have been like if Tim hadn't done what he did.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, Tim, if Tim were on here now, he'd say that when I direct him, one of my directions is, and I can't use the actual word that I use, but he always does, which is I go, to Welsh. His John Pertwee voice is great, but I'm always guiding him back over the border, basically. Good. Next question.
This is, I better do a McGann question. By the way, I haven't pre-read these, so I don't know what the hell it is. In 2023, which will be the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, do you hope to be approached to star in a special adventure with either 13th or 14th Doctor? There you go. Answer that question.
He'd love to. I'm sure he'd love to do it.
Who? Oh, Paul McGann. Yeah.
Yeah, but what about you two?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Nick would be approached anyway to do the 60th anniversary special.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, but the obvious thing would be to have Daleks in it, wouldn't it? So maybe they won't do the obvious thing. It's never a job for life, is it? You're just grateful to be involved whenever you can be. And luckily, Chris Chibnall's been kind enough to have me, in for 2 adventures now. No, 3 actually, counting the Cybermen. 2 episodes of that. Oh, and the Jadoon as well. Yeah, Chris has done well for me.
Yeah.
He lives just down the road. Literally, he lives in the same street as me, just by coincidence. I lived in the same town as him, and then I moved house. And I said, honestly, I'd just been to see the house for the last time. This is just before lockdown, and he was walking down the road. And so I said, "That's Chris Chibnall." And Steph said, "Well, call out to him." I said, "I don't want to." She said, "No, you know him." And sorry, Chris. And he went, "Oh, hi." I said, "Look, I don't want this to sound weird, but we're probably going to buy a house in your street." He said, "How many parking spaces has it got?" I said, "It's got 3 around the back." He said, "Buy it. Mm-hmm. Our parking spaces are at a premium in this town, you see.
For the people who don't know, you probably all know who Chris Chibnall is, but who?
I would have thought so.
Who's Chris Chibnall?
I hope Chris is watching this.
No, is he?
You're never going to get cast. You know that, Lisa.
He's
the executive producer of Doctor Who.
Oh, for God's sake, he would be, wouldn't he? Brilliant. Yeah.
So Chris, if you're watching,
maybe I won't be in the 60th episode, Nick, for your question.
No.
You just thought I was talking about some nosy neighbour, didn't you?
No,
Chris who lives down the road.
Chris sounds.
So Lisa, I'm gonna try and catch Nick out. Don't listen, Nick. I'm gonna try and catch Nick out here because there's a question I'm about to ask him, and he's not supposed to tell us. So Nick, are you in the Christmas special?
Well, it's called a festive special.
Okay.
And it's called Revolution of the Daleks, and that has been revealed.
Ah, okay.
So
you in it?
I think it's all right for me to reveal that I did film that last year, actually.
So exciting.
Oh, God.
Yeah, which was lots of fun to do.
And I know you're not
particularly
going to
on
give us
set.
any sneaky gossip about it, are you? You're going to remain stum.
Yes. What's happened is that my speaker has suddenly decided not to let me hear anymore, so I've had to go to Cannes. So
God.
That's why I've suddenly turned into a Cyberman. Yes. So
Right,
I don't know.
next question.
Yes.
This is from Stacy in Minnesota,
Oh,
who
Minnesota.
asks, most actors never get the luxury or the creative burden of prolifically portraying the same character for multiple decades in a row. After nearly 20 years performing as the Doctor, or in your case, the Daleks and Flip, in audio dramas, how do you stay engaged with the character? And what is it about the work that keeps you coming back to it?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, go on, you go for that, Lisa. I know it's not been 20 years, but
if you
Been
didn't
9.5.
acting, you probably wouldn't do it. So you do it for the love of performing. Flip is such a fun character to play. You know, every episode is different. You might see a softer side to Flip, or you might see her witty side, or her she's got a bit of banter.
definitely.
She can be a bit in your face as well. In your face, I love that. And with Big Finish, it's so lovely to come and work with you guys, because you've got different actors coming in all the time. You know, actors that have been on, you know, really well-known actors and new actors, a mixture of everyone. So you get to sit and listen to their stories, and the character's just brilliant. We are very lucky to have played a character for that long. It's great. I think it just stays fresh with the script writing. You know, if you've got good scripts, you can really immerse yourself into that character. So you've got some really good script writers at Big Finish.
Oh yeah, we're very, very lucky. I love. I get a real sort of swell of pride actually about that, about the writers and the directors and all the actors. Frankly, you know, I wouldn't do this if it were just a slog and working with people I hated. You know, like people sometimes do.
I'll leave now. It's fine.
You know, it has to be about fun.
Yeah.
And with regard to, I mean, it sounds crazy, I know, because Daleks are things that speak like that, but writers often give them interesting little twists, and we've had, you know, the Dalek strategist who's very close and very strange, you know, and there's always something different to do with the Dalek. But I have to say that even if, and I know I play other monsters, but the Daleks are the main ones, even if people didn't give me all the opportunities to do different kinds of voices, I'd still be happy screaming exterminate and we obey and you are under our power or whatever. That is not actually a Dalek line. What am I talking about? But, you know, I'd still be happy doing that because I've loved Doctor Who ever since I was a kid, and I particularly love the Daleks. So what a dream come true for me.
It's iconic, really, isn't it? It's such an iconic role, especially the Daleks.
Well, exactly. And especially for me, it's just a great thing to be able to say to people that you do, you know. Mostly if people say, you know, oh, what do you do in your life? And I go, oh, I do some audio book producing, because people don't know what audio drama is. And then I say, well, also, you know, my minuscule bit of fame is that I do the voice for the Daleks in Doctor Who. And they go, that's you. And people are like, oh my God. And it's, although there are those, you know, once in every 100 times someone goes, what's Doctor Who? And then, you know, then you're lost. But mostly it fills people with joy. You know, they just think it's such a fun answer. Yeah.
There you go. Right, next question. This is Lee in Wales.
Hello, Lee.
Who asks, I was wondering, can you say if Derek Jacobi's War Master is ever going to meet the newly cast War Doctor?
Well, I can't see any reason why not, but we're not planning it at the moment, but I think that would be fun, wouldn't it?
Stay tuned.
You're not giving many secrets away, are you?
No.
No.
Oh,
The carrots.
We've already answered this really, so I won't do that one. Austin in Iowa asks, will you ever get to make TV episodes for Doctor Who, or are you hoping to appear in the 60th anniversary episode? Well, actually, we've covered that one as well. Carl in Australia, when it comes to the Big Finish range, which audio did you enjoy the most listening or working with? They're all the same question here. Hold on. Georgia in Greece asks, what is, in your opinion, the secret of the success of Doctor Who audios throughout all these years?
Doctor Who audios? Or
yes. So what is the success of Doctor Who audios throughout all these years?
Don't you find it's really lovely to like settle down and plug your earphones in, or even listen to something in the car, and you just completely immerse yourself into it? I feel like with audios, I tend to immerse myself more into an audio more than TV sometimes. And I don't know if that's something that other people also feel.
I think that many people do. And,
Yeah.
you know, the proliferation of podcasts, particularly, people love their podcasts. Now people say, you know, what do you enjoy? And they say, oh, I love my podcasts. I've got my podcast now. You know, people love to listen to stuff. It feels sort of intimate as well, doesn't it? It's right in your ears. I don't know. With regard to the success of the Big Finish Doctor Who audios, I very passionately feel, and it sounds a little bit arrogant, it's because we're doing it and we love Doctor Who. And I certainly see my job latterly defined as creative director. All the creative content of the company comes through me. And with regard to Doctor Who, I am always looking for that essential, what I call Doctor Who-ness. If it tastes right, I think that, you know, over the years as a devoted fan and someone who's done a lot of Doctor Who audio drama and been involved in the brand a lot, I'm like a sort of wine taster who knows the right flavor, and I can go, yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a fantastic comedian, poet and writer called Henry Normal, and I once witnessed him in a script editing session for a series called Nebulous that I directed for Radio 4. And his ability to just take the script after a read through and just say to the writer, that's really funny, that scene, but what you need to do is add a beat there, then he needs to say one more word, then he interrupts there, then it will be funny. And it was like magic. And I feel what I aim for is to have that kind of intuition for Doctor Who, that I can say, you know, someone can come to me with an idea for a story, and I've done this often, and say, that's great, but what you're missing here is this element where the Doctor doesn't know this, and then they have to find out that, and then it will land like that. And I love that. And I also love it when other people have that kind of expertise. Someone who immediately springs to mind is Alan Barnes as a script editor. And, you know, when I've written storylines for him to script edit, you know, he's like that. He kind of says, yeah, this is great, but what you need here is an extra element that's running in parallel. And then suddenly at that point, when the Doctor opens this door, that's, you know, that kind of thing. It's, I love that magical ability to get the Doctor Who-ness right. And I aspire to that as well.
Brilliant. Can't answer any of those questions. Hold on. Oh, yes, here we go.
Oh.
If you could recommend one book, what would it be?
One book.
And that's from Joanna in Germany.
Hello, Joanna in Germany. I wonder whether you're the same Joanna who's written into the podcast. One book.
Gosh, I can't remember the name, but I read a brilliant book. You go first, Nick.
Well, I can't. Well, one that just springs to mind, and it's oh, for goodness sake, it's a really famous author, and now I've forgotten the name of the author, so I'm just going to look it up. I'll look it up on this computer, so at least I'm looking in your direction.
I'm looking for the name of mine as well.
While you're doing that, I might intercede and do this.
Yeah, right, I've got the name now. So,
Electric Blue by Paul F. Verhoeven.
Oh, I'm being sent that.
Yes, it's a guy I know in Australia, and
lovely guy.
His wife does Whovians with Rove McManus, and I met her through that. And he basically, we've had a few chats on Zoom and so forth, and he said, can I send you my book? And I said yes. And I'm about, hold on, we're getting,
is it good? Apparently it's got John Pertwee in it.
Yes, there's a lot of it's written by a fan, definitely, of many things. So I think within the fan community, I think you'd appreciate this book. So that's
mine is
Blue. If I can get it right. There we go. Electric Blue by Paul F. Verhoeven. Go and buy it now.
Yeah, it's on the way to me, by the way. He told me it's in the mail. Yeah, yeah. Because after we did the podcast interview, I gave him my address. What I would suggest, and bizarrely, I was getting the name of the author wrong in my mind. I wanted to say William Gibson, and I knew it wasn't right. It wasn't William Gibson. It's William Boyd, who writes many books, brilliant novels. Any Human Heart.
Oh,
I heard
yes.
of that one.
Yeah, it was. They made it into a drama series as well, which William Boyd did the adaptation, actually, which is very.
Is it good, the drama series?
It's not half bad. It's a bit different, but it's got many brilliant things in it.
Okay, because I've actually got that in a stack of DVDs which I haven't watched
Oh,
yet.
right. I would. It's also on BritBox, so
Oh, it is?
you needn't get it out of the DVD case, mate.
I'll save so much time if I just do it from BritBox.
That's right.
So mine isn't a story, right? But I read this book and I was completely obsessed with it, right? And you probably wouldn't think it's something that I would read, but it's called Physics of the Future.
Oh,
So it was a mixture of physics and science and how people think it will change our lives in the future. So all of these ideas of what they can use with technology they're using today,
brilliant.
how it will create something else in the future. I was just totally obsessed with it.
Oh, yeah, that sounds
I
good.
can't say his name because I don't want to, I can't say the name, but it's Michio Kaku.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Should I zoom in?
Yeah,
That's his name.
there we go.
Michio Kaku, yes, I'd go for that. Michio Kaku.
Oh, the other one I'd like to recommend is Sapiens. Have you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's great. Which is all about human history and the potential for the future. It's an incredible book. Any Human Heart, by the way, is about a man. It's a fictional account, but it's about a man who lives throughout most of the 20th century. And it's just about his life. And the brilliant thing is it's in diary form. And the fantastic thing about diary form, you don't write anything uninteresting in your diary. So the idea is if nothing interesting happened during these years, there's no entries. So you only have the interesting crux moments of his life. And that's what makes it. And when I was reading it, I remember it was so unputdownable that I would wake up. You know how you wake up maybe sometimes in the early hours of the morning, you think, oh, it's really early, I'll just go back to sleep. But I think, oh, Any Human Heart. And I'd be out. And I remember 4 o'clock in the morning when I was in theatrical digs, I was in a house sharing with 4 or 5 other actors. I was reading this book at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then something devastating happened to one of the characters. And I involuntarily cried out, oh no, top of my voice, and suddenly realized I'd done it. And I dread to think what the other people thought was going on in my room. But anyway, but that's how
my dog.
Your dog, goodbye. But that's how affecting the novel was, that I cried out, you know.
It's funny how that can do it to us, you know, these like words on pieces of paper can just have so many emotions in you. Yeah. Something that I wanted to mention that I love reading, not so much a book, but it's scripts. So in the UK, I don't know where this is going out, if it's going out in the States or the UK, but the BBC have something called BBC Writers' Room. And if you go into there, you've got hundreds of scripts. So Doctor Who scripts will be there, and all the famous BBC programmes, all the scripts are there. You can read them all. I love reading them. Yeah.
They've got old scripts.
Oh, yeah. Really famous shows, like shows that have been.
That sounds really good. You should send us a link.
Yeah, I will. I'll send you the link. It's just BBC Writers' Room.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Very good.
Well, we're very near it. We've got about 5 minutes left. So
I've got literally a couple of questions, which I'll nip in very quick. We'll do very quick ones.
Your dog.
Oh.
There's someone called Missy Creant, as in miscreant, in Scotland, says, is Lucy Saxon ever going to appear in an audio venture, or would Big Finish consider bringing in Alexandra Moen, who I presume played Lucy Saxon?
Was Lucy Saxon the Master's wife or something?
Yes.
Do you know, I don't even remember that. It's that awful.
I'm sure she's listening to this at home going, I made so much impression on Nick.
I'm talking about essential Doctor Who-ness, and now I'm confessing not to have remembered a Doctor Who episode. I don't think that there are any plans for that. What happened to her? Did she get killed?
I don't believe she does. We need Scott here for this. Yeah. I don't believe she does, no.
I'm much more of a classic series kind of guy.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, Nick and Jason. This is from Larry in Illinois. Love the Big Finish podcast.
Hey! Woo. Well, of course, Lisa's been on the Big Finish podcast. You had a little...
She's brilliant.
You had a regular spot, didn't you?
Did I?
You need to have her back on, Nick.
I did. I was there for like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
You should have her back on, Nick. I'm acting as your agent now, Lisa.
No, definitely. Well, yeah.
It's you and Benji, isn't it? So you and Benji do the podcast.
Yeah.
And how many do you do a week?
We do one a week. We do one
a
podcast.
week.
One a week's enough.
You need to up your game. You need to be getting content out.
I don't think people put out more than one podcast a week, do they?
Okay. No, it was good fun. What is the best thing about the podcast for you that you enjoy doing?
Seeing Benji, actually. You know, I love him to bits, and we always we have a big chat beforehand, and but we're very good. We don't say naughty things during the podcast because that's just too much editing. But yeah, no, it's really my weekly dose of Benji, which is great. He's such a wonderful human being.
How
talented.
did you meet Benji again? So Benji became a sound engineer?
Sound designer, yeah.
Sound designer, and then he came to the Christmas party, and that's what I met him.
That's right, yeah.
I tried my first weird-looking cheese with him. It had veins in it. I don't know what it was. It looks a bit.
I was going to say, this isn't a euphemism for anything, is
it?
No.
It was a block of cheese. It looked a bit weird.
Well, for those Christmas parties in the old office, that was my Christmas present to Big Finish. I would just go out and buy a load of food from the local supermarket or get a
You're
delivery.
Responsible for the veiny cheese.
Yeah. I used to just pick any old thing, like anything that seemed vaguely Christmassy. You always have to have weird cheeses at Christmas. I don't eat cheese anymore. But that's a whole other story for health reasons.
You know what, we bearing in mind the last year or so, we're going to have to do a Big Finish party for Christmas next year, aren't we?
Well, if we're certain that the virus is not an issue.
Obviously.
You don't want to put a load of sweaty people in a room breathing heavily together, do you?
Virtual Christmas party.
Yeah, but the trouble is only one person can speak at once. Jason and I are on a fairly regular social Zoom call, and it's a bit of a nightmare, isn't it?
Oh, no.
It is a bit.
Some people don't understand that, you know, they can't talk all the time.
I know who you're talking about. Let's mention no name. There is actually a question attached to Love the Big Finish podcast. It is, I was wondering if any action is going toward to special cassette release that was talked about on the podcast.
Well, I can hand that straight back to you, Jason. I'd be happy for us. Someone said, why don't you release things on cassette? You know, you're doing vinyl.
I've still got cassettes from 20 years ago in my garage. So don't even start.
Yeah. So no, Jason's saying no.
No. Not unless we reckon we can get away with £100 a cassette. Then I might do.
Yeah.
Are there plans for more Big Finish stories focusing on Irving, Braxitel, Romana, and perhaps even throwing one of the Doctors in the mix? I love Miles Richardson's portrayal of him. That's from Pat in Pennsylvania.
I'm not aware of any specific plans, but I'd never rule that out.
No, Miles is brilliant, isn't he? I mean, he's done a lot of work for us, but his Irving Braxitel is fantastic. And obviously a recurring character within Gallifrey. Gallifrey, yes. So not at the moment, but you never know. Sorry, that's the end of the questions.
Have you got a last question for Lisa, because she is the special star guest here?
Yeah, I'll give. There is a couple of inappropriate McGann ones. So
I wait with bated breath. Let's hear it.
Stacey from Minnesota says, "Have you ever appeared naked?"
Oh, funny thing. No, but yes. So one of my first ever jobs was a Sony SingStar advert, and I had to get in the shower.
What advert?
It was a Sony. It was like a PlayStation game. So it was Sony
SingStar. Oh, yeah, I remember that vaguely.
So I had to sing like a Michael Jackson song. Anyway, I thought I was like the next Diana Ross. Afterwards, I found out that they picked me because I wasn't that great, and they wanted someone who was relatable, which annoyed me.
Someone who was terrible, yeah.
But getting back to being naked, so I was in the shower and they put a beige leotard on me and obviously turned the shower on. So I'm in the shower like singing a Michael Jackson song. I look down, completely gone see-through, completely naked. Yeah, so they just all run in, covered me up and stuff. So there might be a clip somewhere out there. So it wasn't intentional.
Searching, yes.
It's not intentional, but yeah, there might be one out there.
What about you, Nick? Have you ever appeared naked?
What, in a play or something, or
On anything?
No. I remember, when you're young, you think I'll do anything for my art, and I remember auditioning for a part in some fringe play, and they said, you realize that you're in the first act, and then in the second, you die at the end of the first act, and in the second act, your dead body, there's a pit accident, you're killed in the pit accident, and your dead body covered in grime is brought on, and for that act, they had to sponge down my dead body, and they said, you realize that will be you, and are you okay with that? And I remember just going, absolutely fine. The thought of my body being sponged down while other people are sort of talking, like they're having did you fancy a sausage sandwich?
Oh God, Nick. So you turned it
I didn't
down?
get the job. They didn't offer it to me. Yeah. So
I've been semi-naked.
I'm feeling semi-sick.
Okay, on screen. In that, if you remember The Few Doctors, Nick, when I was playing Jamie, it had the kilt and everything, and the kilt came off.
Send-up film.
It was a fan send-up film, and the kilt came off, and I had to run away from various things. And
that was the bottom half.
Yeah, well, no, there was no bottom half, because basically they wanted me to be a true Scotsman, so show me ass.
Yeah.
But they said, it's fine, we'll give you a pouch. But we were filming at 5 o'clock in the morning in a park so that we didn't get caught. And because I don't think they had any permissions to do this. And so they forgot the pouch because it's so early in the morning. So someone came towards me with the cut off corner of a Marks and Spencer's bag and some gaffer tape. And said, it's all right. And I was like, at this point, I was so knackered. I went, that's fine. I'll just do it naked. It's fine. So I just ran across.
That's showbiz.
There you go.
And it was so cold that there was nothing much to see. Anyway.
Nothing to see.
Well,
on that note, yes, I'll let Nick finish us up.
Yeah, righto. So hand that to me. Lisa, it's lovely to see you. I haven't seen you in quite a while.
No, it's been.
I see Jason a lot on Zoom.
Yeah, it's been over a year, right, since I've last seen you.
God, that is ridiculous, isn't it? In some ways, it's gone so fast, in some ways, so slow.
Have you any?
I saw you recently, Nick. Oh my gosh. I saw you. Yeah. I saw you recently.
My name.
I know.
She's just talking to two
Jason.
guys. That's all you can see.
But yeah, it's been crazy.
Anything you want to say that we can end this panel on, Lisa?
I don't know. Just keep trying to be happy. I know it's a crazy time at the moment. Yeah, I think it's okay not to be okay. I think everyone's acting like everything's okay at the moment. But if you are feeling a little bit down, don't worry. You're not the only one, and we're going to get through it.
What a wonderful thing to say. There you go.
Bye-bye. I'm going to press end of meeting now, and that will finish the recording. So bye.
Bye, guys.